puzzle is to bring in legitimate professionals who do these kind of reports for a living, that if we were to approach investors to actually come here and build this thing, we can give them credible information that says whether or not it's a good idea from an economic standpoint. Can we, is there a market for it? Are you gonna get your money back in a reasonable amount of time when you throw it all in there to build this thing? So there's a lot to be done. And anecdotally, by industry professionals, we're getting lots of agreement that this is a fantastic idea. We need something with credibility that says, we've run the numbers, we've done the math, we've asked the people, we've done our stuff, this is a good idea. So that's effectively what this is. So we have something credible, so we can start pitching people on doing this amazing thing.
And so out of the initial industry consultants, there was developed essentially like a one sheet. It was really about 10 sheets, but it was, a short executive summary of all of the things like the amount of power that was up there, water, all of that stuff. I know Ian's been giving it out to different people that could be investors. I've been giving it out to different people, and essentially the request all of them have is do you have this study though? And that's where you put in the numbers of what is the ski resort industry impact, employee numbers, economic impact, casino impacts, like all of that stuff that, a ski resort industry professional doesn't have that ability. They can look at it and see 4,000 feet of vertical drop, this much water, this much power, this would make a great ski resort.
You mentioned a wild card I forgot to add. This would be the world's first and probably only ever hotel casino ski resort. That's the wild card that they really need to dig in and find out if that makes any economic sense. Because it's never been done, and so that's what it is.
And usually you'll find a stop with your land managers, where they'll come up with some reason at Forest Service or BLM to say, hey, we can't do this. But because our land managers are amazing, they've actually come up with solutions and ideas and ways on actually how to make this happen, and a willingness to collaborate on this. So,
very supportive.
I think long story short, again, from an investment standpoint, what RCG Economics is providing in this scope of work is exactly what the investors are trying to request. I think, with our long-standing relationship with the county, it was great that they stepped up and offered to take the lion's share of this study, knowing that tourism has kind of been pioneering this up to that point. So that's kind of where we're at right now with this one. So that's just a little bit of background information on this item.
So I have a couple of questions. On they're out of Las Vegas?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And have you met them or talked with them on the phone or?
Both.
Yes.
Okay. Have they
Same
been here?
Yeah. So one of their consultants came out, and I did a site visit with them. Went up, looked at the mountain. They got a feel for the town. Essentially gave them the best nickel tour that I possibly could. And they were, being typical from Las Vegas and having not been up to Ely before, I think they came in with pretty neutral expectations and left with a real eye-opening experience of what we have to offer here in the county.
And so would this be U.S. Forest Service or BLM?
A little bit of both. A little bit of both. And so the Forest Service would be from the base, from the mountain up. And that would look like something like a 99-year lease. BLM is around the base. Now, you can't have a casino on federal lands, and so what the talk has been is there would be a purchase of the land because there's enough private property around it that is where the casino aspect of this would go, and so it would avoid federal land completely. And then if there was any other development like condos or other amenities like a golf course or anything like that, that would all be dealt with at that time, with the land manager. So it's where the past proposal, which is here if anybody wants to take a look at it, from Gary Sprouse, the hiccup came from land swaps and things like that. It was a very complex agreement. So this would be much easier, 99-year lease, transfer of just.
So I appreciate, Ian, very much your original goal on the diversification. And recently when I asked for statistics from Travel Nevada, and Kyle Schultz is great about giving, and that's where he said, you know, in 2021, visitor spending in White Pine County was almost $51 million. And these are not our figures, this is Travel Nevada, which is just astounding.
And I think it's important to say that it was $3 million more than what it was pre-pandemic at its highest point. And so even through the pandemic, we've increased visitor spending by $3 million. And that, again, that's new money into our community. That's not us shuffling money around, that's increasing the pie for everybody, so.
So what he did say that it's like 12.5% of our workforce is with hospitality industry. And then we have had a SEDS update, Comprehensive Economic Diversification Study strategies. Anyway, so I was talking to Fred Steiner from UNR, and I was giving him that figure, and he said, well, actually, Caroline, it's more than that, it's about 15% is what has already been diversified in White Pine County for our workforce. And he was very complimentary, and I said, well, you know, if I had my druthers, what we'd like to do, and especially with this destination development application, if we're successful, and you know, one way or the other we will do it, but is to really see if we could get up to a quarter on that because of our natural assets and amenities. And so I've had lots of time to think about this thing and discussion with Kyle about, well, what is it we're trying to achieve? And again, without having the study on this, we don't really know whether it's feasible or not. We can all come up with different ideas, but until somebody runs the numbers. But the second thing is I want to say thank you to White Pine County for taking the 2/3, because that's truly a partnership. And so I feel that it's a good investment for us, and it's important that we always are not we're not a barrier, we're a supporter of looking at new opportunities. You know, it's similar to what we're doing inside here, is looking how we can reconfigure the building if we need to. So it's reconfiguring our economy.
Boy, it is, because what was big for me, the challenge, you can't just bring in any industry. It has to be something that provides jobs that can be reasonably comparable in their pay and career opportunities to what we have in place already. So
With our assets.
Right, so.
Well, understanding that our unemployment is just a little over 2%, you know, we have plenty of jobs right now, but we need the diversification is always a challenge.
Yeah, well, and it's weird, it's been 4 years that I've been hacking away at this, it's a chicken and the egg. We all know we need more housing. Developers won't come here and build more houses until they see that there's a real need for it. We know there's a need, we can't pitch it to them that way. But what is a real need when we bring in big industries coming? There's a real need in Reno right now, ever since the Reno Tahoe Industrial Center came in. Now it's a housing boom out there. So I see a similar thing, because it won't just be, like you said, we got relatively low unemployment here, but it's gonna bring a fresh, you know, George has mentioned many times that our population's kind of stagnant, and so things like this is what brings in fresh flow of people, and so it all starts to come together of all of that, so I'm pretty excited about
It
it.
certainly would be a quality of life asset that would get a lot of attention from people that are looking to relocate, you know, from a bigger city like Salt Lake or something where like, oh, I love skiing, but it is so slammed with people where I'm at.
Right.
You know, now this becomes a more viable option.
Absolutely.
So, Marietta, we have not heard from you, and I don't know if you're on mute or.
No, I just got off mute.
Okay.
I think this is excellent. We have to do this. We just absolutely have to have this study done. We can't go any further with it without, so I think it's an excellent project, and it's something that will absolutely help Ely if we can get it on.
Well, I think knowing definitively is important. We can always wonder, so. With that, I'll entertain a motion.
Madam Chairman, I'd like to make a motion that we approve the engagement letter of RGC Economics LLC to conduct the study, and that Turin Rec's contribution will be $13,000.
Second.
Thank you. It's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Number 7, discussion and for possible action, Executive Director's Annual Evaluation. So I appreciate everybody letting us have the break and restapling and things like that, hot off the press. So if anybody wants to be a paper passer, or did you put them up here?
I think those are, you want?
Okay, here we go. Oh, we have to. I knew there was a stack.
Raise your hand if you'd like one.
Mhm. And Marietta, we will scan and email this to you.
Thank you very much, Madam Chairman.
Sorry about my administrative skills.
Anyone else?
What's that? If anything, I learned ways to scroll to get after it.
Thank you very much. Any more? We've got more up here. Mackenzie.
I think we're good. Do you want one? Okay.
Okay, well, thank you. So, on the executive director's annual evaluation, as you would recall, or hopefully recall, we have been we've been contracting with White Pine County as far as our HR services. And I believe we're through this month. Okay, so we're done, and in between the time, Kyle is asked for full PAC for a level 1 evaluation, an audit of things, and we have a path forward. And they've been very helpful with everything. So the records have been transferred from White Pine County to us, and we'll have a plan that we'll implement next month. Is that correct? Okay. So this is as you can see, it says White Pine County in the logo because they were our agency that did this for us. And this is a compilation, and just like to take a look at all of these as far as the performance evaluation and achievement. So we did the governing board relationships, public relations, effective leadership of staff, fiscal management, communication, attendance, punctuality, dependability, professional job-related competencies, and intergovernmental affairs. Now that's a whole lot to evaluate. So various comments, they're not in paragraph form, they're just sentences that were submitted. And so the summary rating is well above target, and this is just an average taken with the number of questions and the scores. And if anybody sees a problem with my math, let me know. So just want to say, if we can go to the very back of this, the summary, it says Kyle has set a standard high for a tourism and recreation director. Congratulations for building the most enviable tourism agency in rural Nevada. The relationships you have developed have brought many benefits to White Pine County Tourism and Recreation and White Pine County. You have led White Pine County's recovery from the pandemic to new heights in visitor spending, almost $51 million in 2021. White Pine County is becoming a true destination to visit under your leadership.
Thank you.
Here, here.
And then the future goals and objectives, we have, I'd like to see Kyle maintain the same enthusiasm and accomplishments as he has in his previous years working for White Pine County Tourism and Recreation. Continued work on development of tourism and funding through grants for White Pine County, and continue to develop strong partnerships throughout White Pine County, Nevada, and nationally to fully achieve visitor destination status. So I just want to say on behalf of the board, thank you very much for your
Thank you.
leadership.
Well, I just want to say thank you all for trusting me with such an important position in the community, and the opportunity for personal and professional development is just amazing of what you've allowed me to grow into. I really look forward to the next year between destination development, the asset mapping project with the National Park Service, the solar eclipse that's coming up, the facade improvement incentive program. I mean, I feel like, you know, this July will be the end of 5 years, and it seems like it's gone by like that. And I would just love to see the momentum and the direction that tourism is going to continue like through this next year. And years to follow. I mean, I really think we're moving in a very good direction that benefits the community in a whole and as a whole community. And that's what I want to keep working towards is, you know, connecting these communities, connecting our assets, making this feel like a cohesive experience when people come here, and ultimately all the economic benefit that follows, you know, your first really good time in a community. Hopefully it turns into full-time residences and, you know, businesses moving in. and stuff like that. So it's all fun and games in the beginning, but really, you know, I feel strongly about the economic benefit and what we're trying to do in community development here. So thanks again for trusting me with that.
Thank you, thank you. And just as a note of the partnerships, I want to say thank you to Wayne. I think we have my version or vision is we have a great partnership with White Pine County, with White Pine Chamber of Commerce. And thank Wayne for his hospitality of allowing us in the chamber building with a 7-day-a-week visitor experience. And really, the partnership with the chamber has been remarkable, and it's to you two that have made it so strong, and so we are seamless. And I think we've heard that you are gonna be passing the baton.
Pass something.
Well, we certainly appreciate everything you've done because you've made it just, you know, it's been wonderful. So thank you for this great partnership, both of you, and that's just one of the many, so thank you. Okay, any questions or anything? Any discussion on the evaluation? Marietta, do you have anything to add?
Madam Chairman, yes, Kyle would like to say thank you for an absolute outstanding job. You're becoming, or you have become, an industry leader. You also have the respect and admiration of others in the tourism business, and we're very fortunate to have you in White Pine County. Thank you so very much.
Thank you, Marietta.
And anything else?
We would be foolish to have anyone else sitting in that seat
Thank you.
for a very long time.
Amen.
Yes, thank you. I will entertain a motion.
I would just, I would just recommend accepting the evaluation. That's how I would phrase it.
Okay.
Motion to accept the evaluation as presented.
And I'll second that motion.
And I will need signatures from board members and from Kyle and his comments too, so. So we moved and seconded to accept the evaluation. Any further comment? Hearing none, all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you very much. It's always a scary time in evaluation.
Oh, I tell you, I've been sweating all day.
Yeah. Real worried, huh? So item number 8, approval of the meeting dates for the first half of 2023. And if we go back and hear what I believe, Judy, what you've done is put the 4th Tuesday of every month at 4 o'clock. Yes, and just, I think I would recommend that we go ahead and approve this. And depending upon who is in the seats, it could be a change with work schedule. So we want to be accommodating for everyone. So this is where we are going to be now. And the meeting dates are up there, all of the, just put, it's the 4th Tuesday. So entertain a motion.
Madam Chairman, I'd like to make a motion that we accept the proposed meeting dates for the first half of 2023 as listed.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
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 Opposed, motion carries. Okay, let's go to 6, discussion information items, executive director's report.
All right, I'm gonna mix things up, and I'm gonna go first this time because I want Errol to go get his museum toolkit and showcase that as part of his report too.
Does it have like a hammer or something?
Not that type of toolkit.
Oh, okay. Not a drill, not a hammer, huh? Oh, okay.
All right, so I'll go through. Again, this is the format that we've been doing the director's report in for a while, so some of this stuff you'll see is just kind of ongoing, like our PR monthly and bi-monthly plan meetings. Both East River and the Abbey Agency are working with influencers, media people. We're constantly picking and choosing based off of the proposals, you know, who we want to bring out, and especially based off of what their specialty is. We've gotten everything from some very extreme athletes that it would be very cool doing stuff with, but at the same time, probably not our market, all the way up to family travel and stuff like that. So right now we're working on getting people out here for Fire and Ice. We did a promotion in the past as part of the Travel Nevada grant with Visit USA Parks. This is an international company that focuses on the German and UK market as well as the domestic market. So I reached out to them since we are having the eclipse in October of next year, if we could start working on ideas and things like that for promotions. For that sense, we will be right over top of Great Basin National Park. I did have a follow-up meeting with Brian Armand and Corby Cobb about working with Great Basin Trails Alliance to bring another bike event out here, something that they would put on, but it would benefit and have a fundraising element for our Trails Alliance and trails and everything like that. And then just recently, Department of Tourism and Cultural Affairs sent out Francine Berg and Samantha just to kind of get new employees to get an idea of White Pine County and what we have from a tourism standpoint. We went out to dinner, had great talk, and it seems like since they're the public relations wing of kind of tourism, we're going to be working together on how we can just showcase the area that much more. But it was a really nice familiarization tour with them. From a room tax standpoint, pretty much the same as what it was. It was like a percentage over what it was compared to October of last year, so pretty much similar. Some of the things that I did last month, Robinson Mine had their benefits fair for 2 days. Errol and I attended that, had all of our material out on the table, got people signed up for our newsletter, pretty much let people know where the events calendar lives and how they can find out information on the community, so I thought that was really good. I did attend the NDOT Transportation Trails and Tourism Conference in Reno. That was amazing because even though we did not do a presentation on Ely itself, like I didn't do a presentation on Ely, Ely was brought up in other people's presentations quite a bit. So, when we're talking about being recognized at the state level and kind of being a community that is attaining that envious energy from other communities, that's what I picked up from this one right here. So it was celebrating a lot of what Reno and Carson City has been doing, but everybody wanted to talk afterwards of being like, well, how are you doing this in Ely? And we want this in our community. So that was really cool, and I made some suggestions for next year's conference to have our land managers giving some presentations and possibly our Trails Alliance as well. Out of that, somehow, I became a board member on the Nevada Bicycle Coalition. So now I'm on the statewide board for organizing and advocating for all the smaller local bicycle groups and coming up with a statewide plan in regards to that. We did submit the design for a new billboard in Murray Canyon. If you've driven up to the top, you notice that it's looking pretty faded after 4 years. I will say everybody loved the Not Just Elevated, Elevated. So we worked with local designer, and we're still going to be doing the cutout at the top. So it will be kind of that die cut. We have a new picture of a new angle of downtown, showcasing some murals that haven't been in past pictures. It still works as a wayfinding sign, so we have national, state parks and trails with image of mountain bikers, directing them to that direction, and then downtown and trains with the new image of Engine 81 on that one. So really excited about that one. This one's going to look much better at night from a color standpoint. It will be fully lit, everything like that. So I figure we'll get another 4 years out of that one.
And when will this go up?
As soon as Gordy can work it into his schedule is what I'm told.
Alrighty,
So I'm hoping, he said probably in December.
okay.
So coming up soon. We did conduct the phase 1 of the HR assessment. So we had Neil Freitas come out here, do a deep dive into all of our personnel files, policies and procedures, all of it, had his findings, and pretty much we're gonna be working with Pool Pack for phase 2 on getting policies and procedures, job descriptions, and personnel files. But honestly, he said it really wasn't as bad as what he thought when he came in here, so that's a good thing.
Well, and it's also free.
And it's also free. And the nice thing is he's going to make all the suggestions and make the changes, and we'll just approve them.
And will that be next month?
It will be nice. We're shooting for actually to finish by the end of February with everything, so it'll be a few month process. But we figured we'll get through the holidays, and then January and February we'll go ahead and work with the board on getting that all adopted.
Great.
So the facade improvement incentive program, we're still looking for additional funding. The T-Mobile grant did not get approved, so that $50,000. But the application period is going to reopen again, so we're going to fine-tune the proposal, and we'll go ahead and send it back in again. And then we're still working on that community asset development map with Brandon Stocksdale with the National Park Service for the River Trails and Conservation Grant. Again, once we get a snapshot of all of our recreation assets and where they tie in with our parks and schools and hospitals, we'll have a pretty clear path, or they'll give us a pretty clear blueprint on what we should do to help connect the communities and secure easements and access to those recreation opportunities. And then this last week, Travel Nevada brought out a FAM tour. They're just starting to happen again. November is not the best time to bring people out and showcase, but we'll take it when we can get it. There was 18 European tour operators and booking agents that came out. They did the national park, they did the train, stargazing at the charcoal ovens, karaoke at the space, dinner at Mr. G's, the art bank. So they got a really good view of what was going on. They were a great group. So going on into grants. On page 2. So we still have our 3 grants that were awarded. So the Nevada Magazine Advertising, the seasonal event card mailer, and the horseback trail riding content. In regards to the seasonal event mailer, Errol might talk about it, but we did put out a request for all of the 2023 events. You know, a lot of the times, things are coming in at the last second that we're finding out about it, and we wish we could have done more. Unfortunately, there was a few times this year where we found out after the event actually happened that an event was going on. It's something we definitely wanted to market. So what we've created is a pretty elaborate benefit suite package for any of these events that can give us a 2023 date solidified before the beginning of the year. And what that's going to include is this seasonal event card mailer project that we've been granted. So we will have all of the events that we know about. Not only will they be on the calendar starting in January, Facebook events, radio ads, newspaper ads, PR releases, things like that, but we're going to include it in the mailer to all of our joint counties. And so the grant includes Lincoln County, Eureka County, Elko County, and White Pine County.
So Travel Nevada is also requiring this because they'll only have one grant application now and it has to be for the whole year, right?
This is the last one. The next grant cycle will be for the full year. So this one we will have to turn in June 30th.
Right.
So we have a little bit of time, but what we want to do is we want to create, you know, the incentive for people to decide early enough to go ahead and do that, and then benefit.
Well, so some of our nonprofits are applying to Travel Nevada, so they're gonna have to have all their plans done for a
Absolutely.
whole year ahead.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So that's going on. And then in regards to open grants, the Destination Development Grant and the additional Travel Nevada marketing grants will be awarded at their meeting on December 8th. So we'll find out then. I've been trying to do beta on where we stand with it, and we'll just say my fingers are crossed. And I hope we're one of the 6 communities selected. We did put in for the Great Basin Heritage Area Partnership grants. That would be for refreshing the Cattle Drive mural, as well as paying for the White Pine County educational module in the new Travel Nevada Academy. So this is a frontline staff training program at the state level, where there would be a graded module specifically on your knowledge of White Pine County and our assets.